Hey, my cyber babies. It's the even more fabulous of the love coming at you live and in living color. Hey, Mr. Cool TLC, what's doing with you, big boy? Can you hear me? Okay. Papa? Okay, anyway, we're going to be talking about stuff that's going on. Okay, we know that the Speaker of the House is has been ousted. He no longer has his job that he begged for, and his constituents voted 15 times to get him in. He's like, I'll do whatever y'all want me to do. Just let me do it. And somebody said, I don't know which one of them said, okay, we'll make you speaker, okay, in this 15th round. But we want you to know that you could be removed from this office at any given time that we're not happy about what you're doing. Well, Kevin McCarthy, the former Speaker of the House, said, well, bring it. You want to tell me, bring it. And at the same time, they claim he was over there begging President Biden, oh, please save me. I need the votes from the Democrats, so I got to stay in the House. Okay, but maybe we all forgot this part. Way back in should we say way back in the summertime? But a few months ago, I was reading articles where the President Joe Biden and the Speaker Kevin McCarthy were sitting down talking about what they wanted to do and that to make sure that the government didn't shut down. Okay, so that's the first thing. They avoided they averted a government shutdown so they could just, I don't know what they was pussyfooting around for in the first place. Now, you knew this vote was coming up. Now you get all the way down to the wire and stuff can happen. I do it myself. I'll be the first one to I don't wait till the last minute to do it. I mean, I do preparation stuff, but then I'm like, okay, I got 10 minutes, I got 5 minutes. Okay, you got to get to going. You're not supposed to do that. I just had this part of my face chewed off again today because I wait till the last minute, and I don't really wait till the last minute. But nonetheless, the government averted a government shutdown, and they said, okay, yeah, well, we'll do this and for 45 days. And now it's now down to 42 days. 42 days. You all couldn't get anything straight on the Republican side for the past 4 years. Do we really honestly think there's going to be a balanced budget, to keep the government programs running? And the Republicans want to gut everything: Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. They want to make sure that the people that went to college stay in endless debt and the interest keeps rising. They want to get rid of daycare and WIC, women, infants, and children. A lot of people in the United States, we don't have a fair balance. That it's either the really, 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 really funky rich, or they wiped out the middle class. Remember that tax break that the Republicans got? That's a 35% on their tax break on their taxes every year that they don't have to account for. Okay, everybody seems to have forgotten about that. And so then we get to this point that we are like, oh, that's what we doing? That's how we doing this? This is how we doing this. Okay, can you hear me? I can't hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, we talked about this before, and we were saying that you saw this coming, that they were going to have a shutdown. So now that they averted the shutdown, the speaker has been ousted, and the crazy replacements for Dianne Feinstein. Okay, that's what. So when you heard about the shutdown, that the shutdown was averted in the government, what did you say?
I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't really say nothing. I mean, it was just it was what it was.
Oh, I can't hear you. I need you to speak up.
Oh, I mean, check 1 2 2. I don't know.
I can hear you.
What's happening?
Okay, there you go. That's a good volume. So, what is your thoughts on the government averting a shutdown?
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, they still ain't getting nothing done. So we averted a shutdown. You got another one coming. So this don't mean nothing. This don't mean nothing because we averted it. When we gonna fix it? That's the problem. Because we always gonna be kicking the can down the road. I mean, to be happy because the government didn't shut down, that was great. But loom and doom is coming back again. So, I mean, what we gonna do now? Now you got rid of the speaker. You ain't got the speaker no more. You got somebody that's probably gonna sit in there. What negotiations they gonna make in 43 days, 42 days, whatever we got left? What decision is they gonna make that's gonna be right, or is it headed for another shutdown?
See, that's what I'm thinking. And why would you only do it for 45 days? Why wouldn't you do it, for the duration? I mean, who picked that number, 45 days, and then we'll do it again and we'll come back and we'll be saying the same stuff. And as you said, kicking this can down the road, period. And when are we going to, if you could fix it, what would you do?
I mean, just try to figure out where our cutting, because I know it's just other programs that can be, I ain't going to say get rid of programs, but you're going to have to slice some of the meat off. Mm-hmm. And it may not be to the liking of a lot of people, but if it's going to keep us from going into debt again, then why wouldn't we do it? That's like everybody at home paying their bill. Either you're going to pay your bill or you don't. If you don't pay your bill, you know where you headed to. But if you can pay something on it, then pay something on it, but work on trying to make sure you pay it off.
Right.
And that's what I would do.
And you know what? That's a good analogy. This is what we do in our homes. We have to balance a budget. If you're working, if you're on a fixed income, you know what to do. You know how much money you're coming in, and you know what's going out. And oftentimes in our society nowadays, you sending more out than you bringing in. Because now we got to pay our fair share of taxes, and they tax us, in the entertainment industry. We get taxed at a kind of high rate because they said, like when you went on a game show, and you have to be able to show the game show people that you can afford to pay the taxes on what you won. Okay, like the lottery. That's why they take all the taxes out first, and then they tell you, okay, this is what you're gonna get, and then you got to pay taxes on this, whatever it is. And we have to pay the taxes. We have to sit down and figure out, okay, we got to pay the rent, the light bill, the gas bill, the cable bill, the phone bill. It's almost like we got to pay the car note, got to pay car insurance, got to pay life insurance. Oh, and don't you have some kind of an ailment? Okay, you better not have stuff like diabetes, high blood pressure, have to go to chemo. Oh, see how this works? Okay, yeah, I'm just having a moment for right now. There's not enough money. But the wealthy can have enough money, but they don't feel like, rich people aren't stupid. They don't pay taxes. Stupid people are stupid. Poor people are stupid. And what the 45th say, I like my constituents stupid and dumb. And y'all want to put this guy back in office. And then, okay, so now back to the averted shutdown. So we down to 43 days, 42 days. So, and they're sitting up and they're talking about, this one I don't understand. Why did they feel the need that we are in the middle of this crisis? You knew it was coming, that you took off 6 weeks off your job, and that you could go 6 weeks off your job keep paying you, and you come back and you do nothing.
Because that's the way they set it up. So they could benefit from that shutdown. That's actually why they set it up, because there's no need for you to go home if the government need to run. Why are you going home for 6 weeks? Nobody else goes home and takes vacations off their job, period. Like that 6 weeks, the whole Congress.
That's a month and 2 weeks.
Come on. If I did that in my job, not only would I lose money, the company or whoever I'm working for would lose money too. So why would you go home and then come back with no grand plan to do nothing?
Nothing. Except try to, nitpick and get back and, like have a vengeful attitude. We want to we want to shut it down, and we want to have these provisions, and we want you to have these massive cuts. But it's never about the wealthiest have to make the sacrifices as well. Wait, hold on. The wealthiest have to make the sacrifices as well, and they don't.
Right.
They probably could have cared less about the government shutting down. I mean, we were looking at as they were voting, because it was there was a roll call, and everybody that was there had to vote, or yay or nay. And they said that he couldn't have. The only way he was going to keep his speakership was if the Democrats came to his aid. Okay, so I guess he was going to just automatically forget about all the stuff he said and all the stuff. He was sitting with the president, and they were going over what we could do, what we could not do, what we need to do, and not what so much about what you want to do as the politician. And you're here to work for the people, and they forget they got a job. They really forget that they have a job. Your job is to govern people, and not put money in your pockets like that.
Right. Right. They ain't not worried about that. That's not what they looking at. That's not what they focus on. They worried about just keeping their job doing nothing.
And you know what? That's kind of like, I mean, when you think about it, maybe we're in the wrong business. Maybe we should have got into politics, because you get paid no matter what. You don't have to be there. You don't have to vote on anything. You just got the title, and you could be off in Maui or in the Philippines or going to Malaysia or wherever you want to go.
Yeah.
And it's on our dime. And people act like that they don't need to be able to do that. And I don't understand why that is like that. And why are we as the voters sitting back, voting these people in office term after term after term, and we're getting nothing we're not getting anything for our journey. Nothing. No
Right.
thing. And they want to sit up here and just, oh, well, we think we can cut Social Security away. Excuse me. How do you figure like you going to cut my Social Security check, my disability check? And I'm talking to people that are on Social Security, that are on disability, that depend on WIC, that depend on having child care costs come down, even if it's a little bit, that you don't feel like you're constantly working for the daycare and working to pay bills, and you have nothing for yourself when you sit at home and you go, Dad, you look through your wallet and you're like, I know I had $50 in here somewhere. Where that $50 is gone.
Right.
That's
just because, I mean, let's be realistic about it. Them people ain't been broke since broke was broke. So they ain't why would they care about what we going through? Like, they can tell you, oh, back in such and such, we used to be broke. Before they got anybody got in Congress, they was broke. But after they got in Congress, they wasn't broke no more. And I'm not saying all of them. I'm just talking about way back when you was under 10.
Way back when you
that's what I'm talking about. Like, when you was little, y'all might have been broke.
And you didn't know
that
it.
You moved to Congress and you got money, you ain't looking back on the people that's broke, because you ain't broke no more. So Why would you look back?
Because that's what we do. We ought to turn around and allow the next generation to, stand on our shoulders so they can see further than we saw. They could, make better decisions, make smarter decisions, become more fiscally responsible, because they watched us become fiscally responsible. They saw that, where mom and dad sitting at the kitchen table, got the bills on the table, and they writing out. And I remember they would have a pile of one pile on the left and one pile on the right and one pile in the middle. And see, in the middle was, if we get some extra money, the ones on the left, we're going to skate with it and skate with it and skate with it, because we know we don't have that much money coming in. And that's what the federal government is doing. They're sending out all this money. We done spent, and please know, I mean, I don't understand, Russia invading the Ukraine. We've sent them enough money. Seem like to me there should be some kind of, something going forward that we could see where our money is going. When I look at it, I'm like, well, what if that was my son, the Ukraine? And he was and my son, and I'm doing all this stuff, we having this wonderful life. There's nothing that he will want financially. There's no thing he could want for, because we can afford to pay for it. So, and he knows that we can afford to pay for that, right? So he decides he gonna go out, get high with his friends, and just party. And his partying turns into an addiction. And he keeps coming back, mom, dad, I need more money. And you just keep giving it to him. And he's not even thinking about going to rehab. So, and a lot of the Republicans were saying that the reason why they didn't want to pass a budget is because they didn't want the United States to give any more funding to the war in Ukraine.
Right. Okay.
Is that right? Is that fair? And they're our ally. Do we just, punk out on them? And we still got the prints. We still got the plates for the money. We got the $1 bill, $5 bill, $10, $50, $100.
Right. But unfortunately, that ain't the world we live in. That's a good afternoon special that we sit down and work everything out. But that ain't the world we really live in. People don't care about other people's lives. Don't matter if you family, not family, or nothing. Other people, they say it because it sounds good. But it don't really work in the real world because they not looking out for the next generation.
No.
They get it like you get it. And they don't care about it because they feel like, the older generation felt like we struggle, and they look at the kids having it easy, but you providing some of that to them. So everything ain't easy for them, but it just seems like it because it was harder for you. So you gotta look at your life and try to compare it to somebody else's. You want to make somebody's life better? Then do what you need to do to make it better. If you don't, keep doing what we've been doing.
And we're not going to get any place with that. It's like when they say, if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different outcome each time, that's called crazy. And we're going to keep doing this and keep voting these people in who are not thinking about us, don't care about us. They got it in their heads. Well, my vote doesn't matter. I don't need to go to the polls. This is why you need to go to the polls. Somebody was asking me the other day, why do I talk about politics and what's going on in the world? Because we need to know and understand what is going on, or not understand what is going on. And the only way to do that is to be engaged. The only way to do that is to talk about it. We don't want to have those real hard conversations. We don't want to have a conversation about, having too much month at the end of your money. We don't want to have a conversation about, oh man, I got 4 kids. I'm a single mother. I'm a single father. I even got 2 kids. Taking care of yourself and other people, that can become extreme. And as kids grow, their needs grow, and your wages don't go up. What you could feed your kid at 5, you can't feed your kid at 10 and 15 years old. So what we got to do, we got to go hustle. That's what we do.
Right.
And go ahead.
No, I was just saying, yeah, you're right. I mean, everything, and people get confused on the word when you say hustle, because everybody don't understand. Everything is a hustle. Everything. Whatever you do, when you get up in the morning, you go to your 9 to 5, that's a hustle.
Yes.
You have to hustle yourself up, get ready to go to work. It's a hustle. People think that, that hustle, that's a rap word, or that's a hood word, or that's a ghetto word. It's not. It's everything we do is a hustle. We move we move the way we need to move. That's a hustle. So you got to understand what you're doing. As long as you live this life, from the day you was born to the day you expire, you are going to hustle. It is not going to stop. It's like even rich folks hustle. And you be like, how do they hustle?
Wait, let me clutch. Wait a minute, hold on. Let me clutch my pearls. Okay, I'll have to clutch my diamonds. Oh, let me clutch my diamonds. I can't believe that you would say that. Rich people, we don't hustle. You don't understand. We don't sell drugs. We're not into prostitution. We're not into money laundering. Okay, that might be suspect on the money laundering. But when you talk,
But see, that's the difference. That's the difference of you not knowing what hustle is. And it's not nobody's fault. It's just another word that's being used. But hustle is the same thing as I'm going to work. Right. Rich people hustle because they got to keep their money. That's a hustle. To keep your money is a hustle.
And as long as you can keep it. And that's why a lot of rich people dodge the IRS. That's why they're talking about, okay, let's abolish the IRS. For who? Is it just going to be people that make over $400,000 a year that they don't have to pay taxes? You know, and the majority of people are barely getting by. You know, used to be if you was making $50,000 a year, you know, you thought you were on the gravy train. What? I'm making 50K? Oh my goodness. You know, and then once you do get it, you have to be mindful of it. I remember when I first came out here to California and Q invited us. Q would be Quincy Jones. I just love to say that. Oh my God. I told him I'm gonna tell everybody I came to your house. And he invited us to his house for lunch. And this was when his house he was having his house rebuilt because a large part of it and a large part of his catalog was burned in a house fire. And he said, let me tell you something, Mother Love. He said, you know, I'm gonna tell you when you know you're gonna make it in whatever you're doing. And especially in the entertainment industry, when you make your first, when you blow your first $1 million, you because then it's going to be a hustle, because now you done made $1 million. Now you want to make another $1 million and another $1 million and another $1 million. And I would never blow $1 million. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's not, trust me, it's not.
It's not hard to do. It's not hard to do. It's people look at it like I look at money. Depending on what situation you is, it all relates to each other. People with $1 million, that's like somebody having $100,000, or somebody having $10,000 or $1,000, or you know, it don't matter. It's gonna be gone. You gonna have to spend it. You know what I'm saying? And then you can say, I don't want to pay for tax. I don't want to pay taxes. Okay, don't pay taxes. Then don't complain when the roads ain't right. Don't complain when the bridge ain't right. Don't complain when the sewer system ain't right, because you didn't pay your part of the portion because you felt like, well, I made my money myself, so I want to keep all of it. All of it?
All of it?
All of it. Okay. We'll keep all of it. Then don't complain when the roads ain't right. Don't complain when police don't come when you want them because you ain't paying to the system. Right. Don't complain about nothing because you kept your money.
And now what you gonna do? Now what are you gonna do? Because you ride on the same roads we ride on, you fly in the same airspace we fly through. You know, you're utilizing, and you want the police to be there. Why people running around talking about defund the police? I always thought that one was kind of crazy, because as soon as you holler for something jump off. Call the po-po. Right. That's like my great grandmother telling us, you know, long time ago, our father made sure we all got baptized. And my question to him was, well, how come you haven't been baptized? Because the first time I ever heard the word atheist, and the way that they say atheist, it didn't sound like it was a bad thing. And he said, well, I'm an atheist. And I was like, oh, I thought that was like being a Baptist or a Presbyterian or a Lutheran.
Right.
And he said he was an atheist. And so her great grandmother was living with us, and she walked past us, and you could hear her clearly say, baby, ain't no atheist in the foxhole. And when they get in trouble and they're in the foxhole, the first thing gonna come out their mouth, oh Lord, help me. Oh Lord, please, Jesus. I was on a plane and it was acting real crazy. And they were saying, just hold on. And I just started praying. This was right after my mother passed away. I just started praying, oh Lord, all power's in your hand. Oh Father God, you can do this. This is on you. We don't have any control over this. That's why I was always upset about, I didn't like to fly, because I didn't have control. And God has control. And I'm just praying. And I didn't realize that other passengers on the plane, it got real quiet. And I could just hear my voice. And it wasn't like I was saying anything. You know, it was like I was having an out-of-body experience. And I was just praying. And some guy from somewhere down in Podunk, wherever he came from down south, he said, well, shut up all that damn praying. And it was 2 rabbis on the plane. They were traveling together, and we were going to Florida, and they turned, the rabbis they didn't get up. They said, you let her pray. And I was like, oh, okay. So there must be something going on. We landed safely in Indianapolis. They did whatever they needed to do to the aircraft, and we were on our way. And so when they're sitting up here, does it seem like that our political parties, a lot of them, especially Republicans, are like fearless of God? They don't feel like it's going to ever touch them. Like karma is never going to come their way. Nothing bad is going to ever happen to them.
They probably do. I can't speak for the unfortunate. I can't speak for them. So I'm not gonna try to speak for them. I don't know what they fear. I don't even think they fear themselves. You know what I'm saying? Let alone fearing God. Because if you don't fear God, you don't fear yourself.
See, that's what I'm talking about. And we're not doing it. And so many people have gotten away from their faith, have gotten away from their church, their temples, their synagogues, the kingdom halls, and they're like, I could do this all myself. When they told us that Michael Jackson and Prince were Jehovah's Witnesses, and everybody just like went. I'm like, why would you care what faith they have? They have faith. They have something. They believe in. They believe in God. They believe in a higher power. Why you want to put them down because they're Jehovah's Witnesses? I could never understand. I still don't understand that. I don't understand the hate. That's the whole purpose of the coming to the United States, right? So you can have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and to worship how you want to worship. We want to have. That's what what is they called? Evangelicus people. Well, you'll be all right if you just pray like we pray. I mean, I don't know where the disconnect is. I mean, you can't tell somebody how to pray, when to pray. They want to be dogging out the Muslims. They want to say, and people that practice Islam, Islam, and they pray 5 days a week, times a day. Oh, you can't be doing that on the job. Wait, what?
Right. I mean, it just is, like I said, it's unfortunate, but this is the world we live in, where everybody minds everybody else's business except their own.
Oh.
And if you mind your own business, I don't care who you pray to. You can pray to the toilet paper in the bathroom, because this is sugar honey iced tea. I don't care who you pray to. That's not my business.
Right.
That's the problem. We worry about everybody else's life, but except our own, because we don't like who we are. So if you don't like who you are, that's why you hate on somebody else, because you don't like you.
And you know what? And that's a sad commentary when you you don't like yourself. I mean, we see people who do all kind of crazy stuff. I mean, you look at what the politicians are working to do to dismantle democracy. For what? Do you honestly think that the whole of America is going to bow down to your road to fascism, where you running the show, where it's only the bourgeoisie class and the proletariat class, and the bourgeoisie class, they tell us what to do, and the proletariats, we do what they tell us to do. It's like we have no mind, we have no thought, we have no conscience to be able to make a sound decision for our individual lives. So no, you can't tell. You don't know what to do with your body, woman. We tell you what to do with your body, woman. You don't tell a man what to do with his body. So how come? I was reading this article. She's a Republican. Her name is Mace, and she's a conservative. And she said to the Republicans, y'all can't be, butt wipes to women and talk about abortion like that and think that's going to endear a woman's vote to you. Really? And if it does cause a woman to vote for you, you could best believe I will give you $10 if she was not of childbearing age. These are women that are like 45, 55, however old they are.
All right. Right. It's a bunch. That's the thing, because I ain't gonna say it's one side of the coin, because it's both sides of the coin. Mm-hmm. You got those that don't, hey, you can't have an abortion. And some of them is even probably had babies. And now they flip the script and don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't tell, but once again, that's minding somebody else's business. You worried about what they doing, and so here goes one for you. Okay, so I can't have an abortion. I gotta have a baby. Now I gotta have a baby, but I gotta work, and I'm not blaming the man there or not. I'm not putting the man in the scenario. I'm not gonna even put that in the scenario.
That's where the problem come in, though.
No, but I'm not putting them in. The reason I'm not putting them in it, because we already know that's an issue. I'm not going to talk about an issue that is an issue. That don't even make sense, because if we ain't solved it by this long, when does it get solved? Most men know what they really need to do. They just ain't doing it. And there ain't no convincing that I'm gonna say gonna make him do whatever he want, because once again, I'm minding somebody else's business. It's not my own. I'm just gonna suffer for it because you're not looking out for what needs to be done. But back to what I was saying, the woman is gonna have the baby, and she ain't gonna have no help taking care of it.
See,
I ain't talking about from the government. She
I'm talking
can't
about
do
from
a lot
him.
of. I ain't even just talking about him. She's not gonna have no help for herself. I'm talking about just for herself, her mentals, because I got to have this baby now. And it don't matter where the baby came from. It might have came from an incest situation. It might have came from a rape situation. I got to have this baby. Now, what's the problem? Because now I got to have it. You ain't giving me no resources to help me take care of this. And it ain't about getting rid of the baby or none of that. But I need resources to help me because I was a incest. It was an incest. It was a rape. It was something that was traumatic to my health.
And oftentimes, I shouldn't say oftentimes, there are times when with the genetic testing that they can do, and they could, do an amniocentesis test to see if there are any abnormalities in the umbilical cord, if the baby is developing right, if they have if two people have a gene that might cause their child to have Tay-Sachs, when they say that no child has ever survived Tay-Sachs. And right. They can't see, they can't hear, they can't breathe on their own. They are just laying there. And and to tell somebody you got to have a baby, you got to have this baby because I'm telling you, you got to have this baby. And I don't care about, the baby can't see, hear, breathe, or think, or anything. They will never recognize your face. Now, would you terminate that pregnancy? Because you're going to bring a child into the world that is going to be not even, they're still a human being, but they're not a functioning human being. They can do nothing for themselves.
That's a heavy decision. That's a heavy, because you got women that done had stillborn.
Yeah.
And still had to have them. You know what I'm saying? The doctor was like, well, I can't do nothing for you. So now traumatically, that's why I said traumatically, and that's something they got to deal with. And they ain't gonna get no help for it. Ain't no mental institution, ain't going to see no psychiatrist because I can't afford it.
Oh, listen, in poor communities, that's never even a thought, because why would you think, okay, I'm a chick, I'm coming out the projects. I was forced to have this baby, to carry this baby to term. I knew I wasn't ready to have a baby. I tried to tell them I wasn't ready to have a baby. And they said, well, you're going to have a baby anyway. And how many women would say, okay, you wouldn't let me terminate the pregnancy. You made me have a full-term baby, but I can't take care of this baby. I remember in China, they had the one baby rule in China.
Right.
They was making babies for the revolution. They were, and they would say, you can only have one child. And if you have a girl, and it got to be a boy. And if it's a girl child, women were taking themselves and their babies to the woods and smothering them so that they wouldn't have to go through all the hell that she went through. And oftentimes they killed the baby and killed themselves. And people were like, okay, well, she couldn't handle it. How many people, and how do you tell a woman who has carried a baby to term, wanted to have this baby and was so excited about the baby, and it was time to have the baby, and they go to deliver the baby, and the baby got the umbilical cord wrapped around his throat and has suffocated?
Right. You can't. You can't. It's nothing you could do. Okay, so now I had the baby and I'm mentally messed up. So now I can't go to you and ask you for no help because I can't afford it. Not only can I not afford it, I got to suffer the rest of my life. So I become bitter. And that bitter don't have nothing to do with personally nobody. You're just bitter now because you was forced to do something that, I'm looking at it like for real. It's a privilege to be born. It's really a privilege. It really is. It's not that, oh yeah, because I had to see the baby grow to you. No, to make it out is really a privilege.
And to
Real.
thrive, and that's what we want as parents. We want to have our children and teach them, and from our what we know, and teach them the good stuff, and even tell them some of the bad stuff, and I think it's wrong. The whole scenario about men telling women what to do with their bodies. Women have to stay if they get pregnant, they have to stay pregnant, and the guy, she can't walk away from the pregnancy except for her having an abortion. That's her choice. That's something she's going to have to live with and deal with. And I'm going to tell you something. I know a lot of women that had abortions. They don't regret it, but they say they will never forget about it. They will never forget what if they had it done. And so you can't live in what you say. We can't live in woulda, coulda, shoulda. This is a decision that you made, and I'm sure it was a hard decision. Okay, and you have to accept the consequences of your decisions. But to tell somebody, a man, to tell a woman, well, you got to have a baby because I said so, and this is what you will not get any help from whoever got you pregnant, whether it was your father, your uncle, your brother, or a stranger that raped you. You got to do this because we say so. Now they got, I think it's out of Alabama. They're going to charge people. It's illegal to drive on Alabama streets to go to get an abortion out of the state.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's going to uphold that stupid law?
Right. You're going to pull every car over.
That's what I want to know. Say it again.
You're going to pull every car over and ask them, hey, you going to get an abortion? Oh, okay. All right. Good. Keep on going.
That'd be worse than a drug stop. You see the drug stop coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see that coming. You see the lights flashing, and you only get nervous if you're doing drugs in the car or you got drugs in the car.
Right.
And we have been through checkpoints, and we've been through checkpoints where they searched the car. Fortunately, we didn't have to get out for anything, because they're looking at us and they're going, they ain't got no drugs on them. Them is old people. They driving an old people car, and that's the only time I want to be old, when I could get out of something. Well, and speaking of that, I want to get to that in a minute. So now that government shutdown has been averted for 45 days. So now in those 45 days, they really need to either crap or get off the pot. And if they get off the pot, because all Republicans seem like they want to do is shut the government down. We want to have control over everything. This is the United States of America. That's what I said. What do you call it? Tell them what you call it.
It's just a state of America. Ain't nothing united about it, because we ain't united. We is not united. We just have a clique. That's what we are. United States is very cliquish. And that's what we always been from high school on up.
Even in elementary school. I mean, I had some of the same friends that we started kindergarten together, and we graduated from high school together. And the big distance didn't come until we graduated from high school, and we started going up, making our way through society, going to college, getting a job, going to the military, getting married. One of my girlfriends, she said she knew that she was going to marry this guy. And I was like, girl, you don't even know him that well. She said, I know everything I need to know about him. I know he's going to take good care of me. I know he's going to be a good father. Well, she married him, and he was in the military, and wherever he went in the military, they went with him. And they had like 5 or 6 kids, and they stayed married until she passed away. Right. And she knew when she was 16. And I understood that, because you really can't explain that. When first time I saw my husband on the elevator in school, in college, I knew he was going to be my husband. I didn't know by hook or by crook. I'm like, no, there go my baby daddy right there. Oh yeah, y'all, I told you I was sorry for that, because I went off on him one day and I said, you ain't my husband, you just my baby daddy. And all the chicks on the yard that were and that were there that could hear me, they was like, that's what I'm gonna tell so-and-so. I'm gonna tell him, you ain't my husband, you just my baby daddy. And we get to snapping our heads and everything back and forth. That's when you know we serious. Well, we really serious when you start seeing us take off our earrings.
Right.
And pulling off our hairpiece, pulling off our wig top, and going at it, because My mother used to say, if you get in a fight and they start putting off their jacket, that's when you start hitting, because they ain't gonna have arms to hit. And I was like, well, I hope I never get into that situation where I have
Right.
to beat up somebody. And I only beat up one person in my whole life physically, and she was a friend of mine. And I said, she is never gonna speak to me ever again. And a couple of weeks after that, she and I was sitting on the stoop and she was talking. She said, "Good, I'm scared of your sister too, because my sister told me you better go out there and whoop her behind. I'm too old to be out there fighting her. I'll be picking on somebody. You're the only one in the family that's old enough for you, because we are the same age. And you go out there, you better whoop her behind, or I'm gonna whoop yours." Now, this is the
Right.
same chick that took a curtain rod out there. You know how they would hit you with whatever they could find? She pulled
Right.
a curtain rod off the window and hit me across the head, put a big nick on the side of my face, to the point I had to have 9 stitches. And then she had me make up a story to tell our mother. And I was telling it too, like, you gotta believe this.
Wow.
This is what happened. I was running. She said, "What? Well, how did that happen? What did you do?" I said, "Okay, I was running real fast and I had to go to the screen door. I came through the screen door and I opened up the screen door and I ran in the house real fast and I hit my forehead on the refrigerator, on the freezer part of the handle on the freezer."
You know, good playoff. Good playoff. Good story. Wonderful story. Wonderful. Yeah, I don't think your mom believed that either, but
Wait a minute.
yeah,
She
wonderful story.
Wait a minute. And when she came home, I still had a towel, a towel over my head, but it wouldn't stop bleeding. And so we had finally, I thought we had, got the bleeding to stop. And then it's like, soon as she came in, the white cloth just soaked up blood, and she was like, "Oh my goodness, what happened?" I said, "I got hit. I didn't hit the thing on the freeway." She said, "Oh baby, we need to take you to get some sutures." She first person I heard sutures, because they were stitches. She
Right.
takes me down there. They put 9 stitches in the side of my face, by my forehead. And
Right.
we coming home now. We at Charity Hospital in Cleveland. That's on like 22nd. We lived on 55th, so this is like 33 blocks we got to drive, right? So she
Right.
drive, and she like kind of like driving kind of slow. And she said, I said, "Mama, why are you driving so slow?" Because she drove like a bat out of hell. She said, "Because I just want to hear this story again." Okay, so now you telling me you could
Right.
run that fast at that high speed, stop, open up the screen door, and run that fast, and when it's not even 20 feet between the screen door, the big door, and the refrigerator handle. And I was like, well, well, and I just couldn't. And by the time we got up to the parking lot, I was just spilling all the tea. I said, "She's
Right.
not the curtain right out the curtain, mama. They wiped the blood off." She slashed me across the head like she was a swashbuckler. And she cut my head of my head with the curtain rod. So my mother
Right.
went and got the curtain rod. And, she didn't say anything to my sister yet. And she pulled the curtain rod and there was blood inside. You know how the flat curtain rods that you hook on the
Right.
end?
Yeah.
Okay, the blood was on the inside. She didn't clean that part out. So
Right.
my mother came in and she kept saying, "So you think you faster and better than Jesse Owens?" I was like, "No, Jesse Owens can't run that fast and do that much damage on your forehead." Tell me what happened. So then, when we get in the door, my mother done put the curtain. No, she left the curtain rod off because the curtain was hanging down. And my sister came downstairs and she was like, "Oh, the WTF? Oh, I am so busted." My
Right.
mama told me to go to the hardware store. That she was gonna send me to the hardware store when she got finished. She beat my sister's behind with the same curtain rod. And don't you know she didn't have a nick on her? There
Right.
was no blood. It was just my blood. But the curtain rod took a beating. She said, "I need you to go up there to Alexander Hardware and get one of these." I said, "Okay. I'll go up there and get one of them." And your mother knows. Your mother knows. And for
Right.
us to be trying to lie to them is crazy. And it's like they lying to us about this 45-day a version of the government being shut down, and then it was cherry picking what they were gonna defund. Not
Right.
President
And,
Biden.
and like what you say about, see, that's my mama is petty. See, my mama, I know mama. My mama probably would have whooped my butt too, and would have made me would have hang the curtain back up. That's what they would have did. Now you fix the curtain back. I went to the store and bought it. You fix it back.
And
Why
don't
you
be
crying? Why you crying? She ain't waiting till you know. No. When she come back, sit down on this couch. Whatever you gonna sit down on, you ain't going to your room and none of that.
mm-mm.
And when she come back, you gonna put this curtain up.
back.
You gonna put, hey, that's the best punishment you gonna get out of that, other than what she gonna do after that, because you gonna be on punishment. We already know that.
Oh, you already know that.
Right, but now I
And I
gotta
didn't think
do
it was fair. She put my sister on punishment for hit because she did not play with us hitting each other. She
Right.
did not play that. My brothers was fighting one day upstairs in their room, and they were going at it. My mother came in, she came up the stairs, you know, and back in the day, they come out their high heel shoes, take off their pantyhose, you know, she'd have pulled her girdle off, she could pull her bra off, like she didn't even have to take her shirt, just unhook it, just pull it right through the TT.
Right, that's
And
that
then she
magic
heard
trick.
them fighting. So she coming up the stairs and she watching them. She came over to the room. She said, "Oh, that's what y'all want to do? Okay, come with me." See, when they come with you with that like too calm a tone, you know it's gonna be something great. She said, "Okay, come with me." They got outside, and this is in the summertime, and everybody out in the playground playing. And she said, "You want to fight your brother? Fight him in the middle of the yard." She put them two Negro boys in the middle of the yard, and she said, "No." And when they got tired, she said, "No, you want to hit your brother. You want to hit your brother. Okay, well, you gonna keep hitting your brother, and you better keep hitting him back." And they was like so tired. And by the time they were laying on the grass, she said, "Now, I don't plan on ever having to do this again. Now get y'all stupid behinds up and go upstairs and clean yourself up." Because by this time they was crying like, "Oh, I don't want to hit my brother. I won't hit my brother no more." And they actually became very close after that. I'm like, is that what it's gonna take? Sometimes you gotta
Hey.
take a whooping to get it.
Yeah, sometimes you do. And lucky she didn't say, "and clean each other up." Like,
See, now
oh,
that's
wow.
see, you
Wow.
crack me up. You could go even lower.
Right, clean each other up. If you are my brother's keeper, which we supposed to be, I'm talking about family. You know what I'm saying? If you are, then why is we fighting? But them the worst fights in the world anyway. But why is we fighting like cats and dogs?
They never fought again. They never fought again.
Right. Why would I? After that, after we done fought till we done got tired and laid on the ground. But it's a good story to tell between us two.
Right.
Good story to tell.
Oh yeah. And don't let them get drunk. Oh my God. They both of them had different stories. And then everybody had a different story from their point of view. Okay, now let's just chat a moment about the House of Representatives doing something that they hadn't done in 113 years. They kicked out the Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy. Kicked him out. So I mean, and he begged for that job. He begged, and in my opinion, he should have never took the job with the stipulations that they had put on him. Well, if you do something that we don't like, we're gonna get rid of you. Well, he did something they didn't like. He went to President Biden and said, "Please help me save my speakership." And for the most part, they didn't. Because all the Democrats said no, and even 8 Republicans voted against him. So that gave them the majority, and they ousted him from his position. He said he won't run again. I mean, I didn't even think he could run for the speaker twice. I want to know who would be willing to step up to that position in the middle of this crap show. We got 42 days or 40, whatever, how many days we got until November 17th. And what can they possibly do? And who would be even remotely able to fill that position? And some of the names that they came up with is just ridiculous. Just
first of all, I ain't no psychic friend, and I ain't Houdini. So I can't pull out no rabbit out the hat. I can't do no tricks. I can't tell you what's going to happen tomorrow because I'm still concentrating on what's going on today.
Right.
So I don't, it's ridiculous because it's like we about to take a trip down south and everything is in place. Say we about to take a trip down south, everything is in place. You got the drivers, you got me, everybody's all ready to go. Then at the last minute, your driver decided to say, "Oh, I ain't going. I'm voting myself out."
Right.
And we ain't say it, but you just gonna leave Because a couple people said, well, you shouldn't drive. What you mean? What you mean? So we get rid of our driver, we still can't go? No, we gonna go, but we gonna find somebody else to go with. But I ain't cool with him.
And you might not even know him. You might, one of the names
Right.
they came out with, where they said Asa Hutchinson, you know, would make a good speaker. This is when I knew they was just off their rocker. And, you know, this is going to be a real crap show. They even touted Matt Gaetz to be the Speaker of the House. And did you know, this is something I didn't even, I probably knew it when I was taking my civics class, when, you know, and just knew it to pass the test. The Speaker of the House does not even have to be a member of the Congress. The House of Representatives doesn't have to be a senator, doesn't have to be a representative, doesn't even have to have a political background. Another one, they say, the crazy man that's been indicted on 91 felonies. What the word? And he gonna be the speaker. He can't even shut up in his own bench case.
Well, that's just them throwing meat in the cage and hope the lions eat it. You know what I'm saying? That's just it's ridiculous because he can't be the House Speaker and run for president. That's like me saying I want to be the vice president and the CEO.
Well, you could be that if you owned your own company.
Right, but why would I want to? The CEO is hard enough.
Right.
Why would I want to be the vice president and the CEO?
See, and they don't get it. They didn't understand, obviously, what a difficult job that was to be in that speaker seat and to, you know, have to find common ground between the Congress and the House of Representatives, you know, and everybody's going to disagree on everything, not because it's for the good of the country, not because it's good for our allies to see us as strong and united, because of your own selfish thing that you want to do. That's what you want to do. Speaking of selfish, and this is me, I think it's really selfish that we don't have an age limit on politicians or the people that sit on the Supreme Court. You know, that should not be a lifetime job, you know, because you coming in, I mean, you think about it. We got the oldest sitting Supreme Court justices. We got the oldest people in Congress. The average age of people in Congress, in the Senate is 65 years old. Now, didn't they tell us we had to retire at 65? Then they tell us you have to keep coming to get your driver's license every year or every 2 years instead of every 5 years because you age. You age out of when you're going to get life insurance. Okay, you can get it for this fee from 60 to 69. As soon as you turn 70, it's gonna double or whatever. But they age us out. And what if your policy only go to you 85? So that means if you die when you're 89, you don't get any of that money. The insurance company gets all of that money. Why should the people not age out, be able to age out of politics? I mean, you think about it. Dianne Feinstein was 90 when she passed away. God rest her soul. President Biden is the oldest sitting president we've ever had. He's 80. The 45th, he act like he's so much younger, like he a young whippersnapper. The president is 3 years older than you. If you take the full 3 years, it's something like 2.5 years that that he's older than you. And I think politicians should be able to age out of there should be, you can't, you know, do this job for the duration. I mean, how long Mitch McConnell been a politician? And what has he got to show for the state of Kentucky?
I mean, you know, Mitch been in politics since BC? Like he's old as hell. The dinosaurs wasn't even here when he you know, after he became speaker, the majority of the House. The dinosaurs had left. They was like, man, we out of here. This dude been here forever. Like,
you remember when he was born?
Right. I remember Million BC. A Million BC? Yeah, I don't remember him being around there. I swear he was around there. I swear.
Yeah, and that'll go for debate. You know, I think, and this is what they said, that they don't age out. It says, and what age, I'm asking them, what age do they leave? Should they have to be retired at 65? But they saying that even though we have the oldest politicians ever, the average age, like I said, is 65. Did you know under federal law, judges, including Supreme Court justices who reach age 65 with 15 years of service or who otherwise qualify on the basis of their age and years of service become eligible to either retire from the judicial office or retire from active service. They don't have to, you could get into become a Supreme Court justice, I guess, at 50 years old. And you being there till you're 65. That's 15 years. And then you can qualify on the basis of your age and your years of service. Okay, you've been sitting on the bench for 15 years. Okay. The world is changing 15 years. I think the this is just me, this Mother Love, this is what I think. I think the Supreme Court should have the justices should have the same amount of tenure as a president, 8 years. You could only be the president for 8 years. And again, I ask, okay, if the 45th is trying to run on and still keep saying that he was robbed of the election, why, if he was robbed of the election and he actually thought he won in 2020, that would be his second term. He can't run for a third term, besides him being unqualified and delusional.
Right. But he didn't win, but he didn't win. So you lost. They never said if you lose, you couldn't go back and try to do it again. That's what the Constitution don't say. No, because it doesn't say that you can't go back like anything else. You can go back. That don't mean necessarily you're gonna become the president. And that's the thing that he's don't know. He's just doing it, but let's be realistic. He's not doing it just because he wants to win. Just because he wants to help people out. He wants to win so he can get revenge. That's all.
And he has said that. I don't know why people keep acting like, oh, he gonna do something different when he get in office. Oh, that's just him pontificating. Oh, when he say, oh, y'all can't take a joke. Oh, we can't take a joke. When you're talking about people like a dog, when you told the general I think he was laying a brief at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, and there was a service person that was had been wounded. He was in a wheelchair, and this guy said to I think it was the General Miley. He said, "Don't bring people out here like this. It doesn't look good for me." What, that you talking to a person that was willing to sacrifice their life, sacrifice their livelihood, their health, so that you get to have the opportunity to be as stupid and talk as stupid and be as ignorant as you want to be, and they fought for your freedom, and you got I don't even know why I get upset about that. I mean, it's the same guy that said, why can't we just nuke them? This is the same guy that said, soldiers are losers. Oh, is that maybe that's why you didn't want to become a soldier? That's why your father made sure you didn't have to go to the military, because he didn't want you to be a loser? Or you told him, Dad, I believe that soldiers are losers. You want me to go to the military? I can't go to the military. I can't do it. I can't do it. Can't do it. Won't do it. Can't do it.
Right. He ain't go because he ain't got no heart anyway. You got to be a special type of person to try to go to the military. And I'm going to just say that. And that's just what I believe. That don't have nothing to do with nobody else. You just have to be a special type person to be in the military. Yeah, some people go get to school. Some people go get the money and all that. But you still got to be a special type person. And he didn't want to look at dude. The reason you probably ain't want to look at dude, because reality set in.
That could be
you ain't doing nothing to help them. You're not doing nothing to help them.
None, not at all. And you want your Republican Party to say, well, we're not going to pay the military. Are you kidding me? And everything stopped. And then they still haven't filled all the positions that are needed in the military, and these are higher ups and, and across all of the armed services. When you said you got to be a special kind of person to, you got to be a special kind of person to, you say, go into the military. I want to piggyback that on. You got to be a special kind of somebody to go into the military, have them train you to shoot and kill and maim people, poison them, do whatever you got to do so that you survive. Firefighters, same thing. And police officers, same thing. These men and women are willing to strap on equipment that's weighing 30, 50 pounds over what they weigh and run up a ladder and run into a burning building or run into a situation you don't know what's going to jump off. You don't know if you coming home that day, and your family doesn't know. That takes a special kind. That's why everybody got their has their assignment. And when you can be in the service of other people, when you're in the service of other people, you know,
right, especially when you can make, and here we go, especially when you can make that sacrifice.
And you're willing to make the sacrifice.
Right, but let alone that it take us, like I said, it take a special person to be in the military, the army, the police, and all that. Yes, some people got situations in there, you know, we know in the police departments and stuff like that, we know that they need I ain't gonna say they need retraining. Let me just say that. Some of them need retraining, some of them needs they need to take a mental state to see where they at, put them in other, because they put them in all kinds of situations.
All kinds.
But they don't put them in a mental situation.
And
they put them in a physical situation.
And that's what they're doing out here with the police departments. They are, and hopefully it will go across the country where they're having the police officers, especially if it's like not like something like really bad, you know, like a horrible car accident, a house fire, or anything like that, mass shootings and what have you, to teach police officers. Well, they're not gonna. Well, they teach them. I'm sure they teach them some kind of training when they're dealing with people that have mental health issues. You know, and oftentimes, unfortunately, innocent people who have mental health issues have been killed by the police officers because they simply didn't know what to do. And what they're doing is they're having trained therapists go out with the police officers on these like domestic calls, you know, situations down in the homeless community, and you know, so that they can have a mental health professional there to help them de-escalate the situation, because you know all they know is you put your hands up, put your hands behind your back, walk backwards toward me, get on your knees, you know, and hopefully that mental health professional will help them, you know, be able to de-escalate these kind of situations.
Right.
Because it can get real bad. It can get real bad.
It can, because you got to go on the mental state of that person. I'm talking about the police officer.
Right.
What is his mental state? What is his background like? Yeah, it's good. In fact, if I want a job, I'm going to tell you all the wonderful things that you would like to know about me. I'm going to tell you all the wonderful things. But then as you work with me, you're going to start seeing, oh, it wasn't so wonderful what he said. This is not the same person. Right, because the representative you seen just wants a job.
Right. And they're going to do
everything. But the worker is got to work.
And you're going to say whatever you need to say. And sometimes, I mean, police try to justify some of their kills are warranted. You know, especially when they say if you're going to do harm to yourself or harm to others. Okay, I can see taking them down. That was the whole point I thought of getting the tasers. You know, have you ever been tased?
No, I don't plan on being tased. Like,
we had to do it.
I've been shot by touching the outlet, but that ain't the same thing.
No. Oh, no, it's not the same thing as being tased. We had to do it for, we were teaching a class, and well, I was in the class. I wasn't teaching the class. So one of our assignments was we had to tase each other, so we would know what that felt like. So we could help. We could be able to talk to somebody before they get tased. And I was like, okay, I would never want to have that done to me ever. And people that get tased and they can still keep moving, you know, they on drugs. They on some heavy drugs, because as soon as they take, I was on the floor. Right. I went down like one of them foldable, collapsible yardsticks. I just went down. Then I was laying on the floor, and I was like, I couldn't even talk for like a few minutes. It seemed like a long time, and I was like, okay, now I need to take that was. I was like, we ain't gonna have to.
Man, listen, If I rub my feet across the floor and shock you, I'm going out or something like that. So right. Imagine somebody tasing me. Oh yeah, you might as well just go ahead and leave me there cooking. Right. Slaughter. I'm
not getting up.
I'm not getting up. I just got tased, bro. Like you. Okay, get up, get in the car. Look, let me get my life together. I'm gonna get in the car, but let me get my life together.
What you say? I got some things to do. Right. I got some things to do. And I was thinking about that, and I forgot about, the class I was in when we were learning about that. And I was like, okay, Why wouldn't you just see? First of all, I don't want to be in a situation where I'm doing some kind of skullduggery where I would be in a position to get tased. That would be the first thing. Don't be in those kind of situations to get tased.
That's not. I don't even see it. That's like what? Like let me before somebody get hit, let me go get hit so I can tell you what it feels like. No, that's not what I'm gonna try to do. Let me just jump on the highway and let you know what it's like to get hit by a car going 70 miles an hour.
It's just insane.
It's like, no, I'm not. Yeah, but then, I mean, I get it. I get it why they do it.
I mean, I get it. Okay, but then my thing is, okay, now they only tased us, they were standing at a distance and and they tased us. And I was like, okay, if this is, aggravating me and got me down on the floor, and when the ones that they could tase, they walk up behind them and tase them, and they put it right on their neck or right on their back, and they fall down. I was like, mine was like, and it went through everything. Somebody getting tased, the guy was going, it's a wonder his insides didn't melt.
Yeah, I mean, nah, I can't. I mean, just like the military. They make them go in them gas chambers and do the testing and police too, and do the testing of the smoke and all that stuff.
Right?
Listen. I get it. And that's because y'all want to show me what it's like, so I know and recognize it when it comes. But when it's gonna happen, though, I'm not ready. How about that? I don't care how much training I done.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
You're not gonna just shock me, and I'm gonna just be like, "Oh, okay."
That's
you try to tase me. You try to tase me. Yeah, right.
That was a lesson. That was a big lesson.
That was shocking.
And I was like, oh, wait, no, this is not what I want to do with my life. I don't want the police looking for me, everywhere. And speaking of looking, I was reading this article about the gun, I don't want to say it's a buyback, but it's some kind of program that the police department is doing. And it's like, I think you surrender to the police department in one of the big churches in Cleveland. And they were letting them come into the church and, they would turn themselves in. And they said, out of all the people that came in that day, and I was surprised it happened in Cleveland because we know how the popo are there, that they could come in, they could surrender. And they said they got something like 29 felons, and 11 of them were and that was the gun thing too, and 11 of them were wanted on homicides. And I was like, you would just walk into the church and tell them, okay, I'm a criminal and I'm going to turn myself in and I want to be here.
Well, yeah. I mean, what's your alternative? To keep running the rest of your life?
See,
because you're gonna have to keep running, and then they're gonna find you and you'll put yourself in another predicament where you might not make it to go to court or go to jail. You might be in that graveyard because you've been running for a long time. You gotta. I mean, I hate to say it, but you gotta pay the piper when it's time to be paid.
When it's time, and you don't want to pay because that's gonna be your behind is grass. Okay, that's what you're gonna be doing.
Don't do the dirt.
Don't do the dirt. If you can't turn it over, don't do the dirt. What they said, if you can't do the time, don't do the crime.
Right. That's just it right there. Don't even contemplate it, because everybody wants to be slick. Everybody want to be slick. If you can get away with it the first time, I guarantee you're gonna try it again.
Now see, don't encourage the criminals. And that is the case. It's just like killing somebody. If you kill somebody, you could kill somebody else, and until you're stopped. And
right, until something happens. And unfortunately, if you take you out of the equation, it would have never happened.
It wouldn't have never happened. That's your doing, and that's what you got to deal with. And we got to deal with we always have lively conversations. Know that we love you. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Okay, X. I'm going to get to the X. I'm going to remember that. Facebook, X, Instagram. What's the other one? Twitter did it too, Fronyan. You know the platforms. Restream, Facebook.
She said, I don't even know what the other platform is.
It's a bunch of them.
No, but I'm talking about the one that you just named. People at home like, what you fun?
What she said?
What What
What
she
other
say? I ain't
platform?
never heard of that. That's
Oh,
a
this
new one.
wait a minute. And then I heard this that Google is taking over the search engine. It's Google and what's the other one? What's the other format? It's Google and why can't I
Uh,
think of the name of it?
Yahoo and all them got searches.
Okay. Yeah, they said Google has just is dominating the search engine, dominating, and now they're trying to figure out how to break them up. And Meta and Tesla but I don't think they could touch Tesla because that's a privately owned company. But Google is publicly owned, and the other ones are publicly owned, and they're saying that Google has a monopoly. Well, did you not see that coming? You
I
said
mean, yeah.
Bill Gates said we want a computer on everybody's desk in everybody's house. And we were like, that's not going to happen. What am I need a computer at home for? And we live in these. I lost my phone. Somebody found it and tried to use it. And so I had to get another phone. And the whole time, say I lost the phone on Sunday. Okay, my husband went and got me another phone on Tuesday because I was frantically looking for it. And I was outdone how frantic I was looking for this. And I'm going, my phone, oh my God, it's got everything in it, all my important information. Okay, I'm glad. And he said, it's got an anti-theft lock or something he had put on it. So even if somebody found it, they couldn't have access to my information. And that really got me off the roof. And I had to face the music that I too depend on these computers, and I didn't want to.
Right. You got to. I mean, for real, think about it. How many times have you felt, and I'm just saying because we subject to it, how many times have you felt when you left your phone at home, you was missing the whole world?
Oh my God. And sometimes I don't remember that it's not in my purse. And I go to look for it, to look something up or, finish something, answer email, whatever it is I'm doing. And I didn't have, and we were on the freeway. And the look on my face and the panic in my voice was like, oh God, it was like my arm got cut off. Wait a minute.
Right.
I gotta go back and find my arm. My husband said, I'll turn around and go get it for you. And I thought, I can't let that be like the bane of my existence, that I don't have a cell phone with me.
And that's the way it was. You remember back in the day, I'm way back, throwback, however everybody want to say, retro, whatever they want to say. But remember, we didn't have no cell phone. They had to wait till you got home on the answer machine, and then you found out who called you.
Right.
But that was the wait time. Now we don't have wait time. You want to call somebody? I'm gonna call them right now.
Right now.
I don't care if they are working or not. I'm gonna call them right now.
I could text them. I won't let their phone ring. I'll text them. They'll answer my text. I was like,
right.
And I couldn't understand. I said, how come the kids don't call me back? He goes, honey, these kids don't do telephone. They do texting. So as soon as I text them, I can almost get an immediate response. But let me get the phone. Oh man, they go to voicemail. And I'm like, y'all, but somebody over there called me. And they were like, well, if you just text us, we'll get that faster.
Right. Like, so then you just need a phone that don't have phone calls and all you do is text. And then it'll be a problem. Because I can't, no, you just want to text. You don't want to call nobody and talk to them. No. So just get a phone that just texts. It don't do nothing else. It don't ring. It don't do nothing.
I mean, I never would have
believe me, they probably got it.
They probably got it. I mean, it's just technology is just so fascinating to me and so intrusive to me, with these, these bot calls and, the fake emails and every politician send you. This is how come I found out they were selling my name. People I'd never heard of. Okay, we're asking you, Dr. Mother, if you would donate $5, $3, $2, $25, $50. One day I went down to, all the emails, and I only did like maybe 100 emails. Out of the 100 emails, I'm going to say 78 of them were some politician, some organization begging for money. And I unsubscribe myself to them. And I said, well, why are you leaving us? Because I don't have any money to send to you. You're a rich politician. You take $5 out of your pocket and put it into the till and add my name to that. How about that? Right. Do that part. Because I don't have it. Literally, it was like, I'm going to say like $145 if I had donated to all the ones in that 100. $145, that that'll pay for one of my prescriptions. Are you insane? You got money, you a gajillionaire, and you begging me for money?
As petty as this would be, as petty, because you know Mr. Petty always ready for a situation. When they send me stuff like that, you just send them a text back and say, hey, if you would pass such and such law, I would have the $5 to you. But since you ain't passing those laws, I feel like you don't need the money. You need to come up with something that's gonna make me be able to make some money so I can give you some money. How about that?
Now,
How about that?
You know what? I'm gonna try that. Because I got them to stop, the solicitors to stop sending me unsolicited mail. So what I would do, they give you a mail your application back, or mail your donation back. So what I would do, and this is a shame, but I'm not really ashamed of it. I'm like, if you're gonna do this to me, I got something for you. And when they send me back those, they'll pay for postage envelopes.
Right.
I tear up the solicitation and mail it back to them.
Oh yeah, that's the only thing you can do. That's the only thing you can do. Is
okay.
Like,
and one time, no, it wasn't one time. It was a couple of times when they were soliciting money for me for whatever politician it was, and I knew they had money because you could look up online and find out the net worth of anybody. And so I looked up online. I was like, okay, they already got money. So what I did was, I wrote a check. I have one of my checking accounts I don't even use anymore. So what I did, I write them a check and I write void on it, and I mail it back to her.
Oh no, that right there. You just gave, all you did was give them what, 33. Well, that's probably when.
No, because they said they'll pay for. It's only when they'll pay for postage.
When they
it's only on that prepaid postage stamp. No.
Yeah, I mean, ain't no sense of you asking me for money that, because it's a fundraiser, but it ain't fun that you ain't raising no kind of, bills and stuff that need to be really handled. I'm giving you money to do what? Don't you get a paycheck? Don't you get a paycheck?
A fat paycheck. Speaking of paychecks, I got to go to my other job. Okay, so we'll table this until the next time. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Cool TLC and Dr. Mother Love. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, Pinterest, Restream, Instagram. Oh, that's the one. Instagram. And that's where we are.
That's the one that you were saying was Papa Forgot.
Listen, it's just so many of them, and they add new apps every day. I can't keep up with it. I told you I ain't got but 8 brain cells left. And I'll be the first.
And don't forget, follow me at cooltlclive.com.
There you go.
That's the easiest thing to do. Or motherlove.com.
And you'll find us there. Love, peace, and hair grease, my people.